In a stunning admission that shatters nearly a decade of official denials, Zimbabwe's Vice President Constantino Chiwenga has finally acknowledged that the dramatic 2017 ouster of Robert Mugabe was, in fact, a coup. Chiwenga, who was commander of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces at the time, revealed the confession in a confidential document dated September 17, 2025, presented to the ruling Senate Presidium and Politburo. According to the leaked report, Chiwenga described the 2017 military intervention as a deliberate operation aimed at removing Mugabe from power, a move he called bold, necessary, and patriotic. Addressing President Emmerson Mnangagwa and the party's top leadership, Chiwenga wrote, "Comrade President, we undertook Operation Restore Legacy with a sacred mandate to reclaim our nation from corruption and restore the dignity and sovereignty of Zimbabwe." For years, Zimbabwe's government insisted the military's role was merely to target criminals surrounding Mugabe. But this new revelation changes everything, directly confirming what many Zimbabweans and international observers knew all along. Chiwenga justified the coup by accusing Mugabe of abusing constitutional powers, manipulating the system to benefit his family, and allowing a corrupt elite to loot the nation while ordinary citizens suffered. He claimed the intervention was the only way to save Zimbabwe from collapse, describing it as a mission carried out in the people's interest. Back in November 2017, Harare was plunged into chaos as armored tanks rolled through the streets. Soldiers took over the national broadcaster, sealed off government buildings, and surrounded Mugabe's luxurious blue-roof mansion in Barodale. While the army maintained that the former leader was safe and sound, power had clearly shifted from civilian control to the hands of the militaries. Within days, Mugabe's decades-long reign crumbled. His once loyal SANU party turned against him, street protests erupted nationwide, and after mounting pressure, the aging strongman resigned on November 21, 2017, ending 37 years in power. Emmerson Mnangagwa, Mugabe's former ally-turned rival who had fled the country after being fired, soon returned to claim the presidency, marking the dawn of a new political era. On November 15, 2017, armored tanks rolled into Harare as soldiers seized the state broadcaster, blocked access to government offices, and placed Mugabe under house arrest at his blue-roof mansion in Barodale. While the army claimed Mugabe was safe and sound, the reality was that power had shifted decisively from civilian to military hands. Yet, for years, the government and army denied it was a coup. Officials insisted it was a military-assisted transition designed to restore order, not seize control. Even the courts backed this version. On November 25, 2017, High Court Judge George Chiwenga ruled that the military's intervention was lawful, citing Section 212 of Zimbabwe's constitution, which authorizes the defense forces to protect the nation and its institutions. That ruling was quietly upheld in July 2018 by Chief Justice Luke Malaba, without a public hearing. But critics accuse the judiciary of acting as a rubber stamp, retroactively legitimizing an illegal power grab. Legal experts warned that the court's reasoning echoed the notorious Dasso doctrine, once used in Pakistan to justify unconstitutional takeovers under claims of national necessity. To many, the court's actions symbolized the death of civilian supremacy and the beginning of military dominance in Zimbabwean politics. Even Robert Mugabe himself later condemned the events. Speaking to journalists in 2018, he didn't mince words describing what happened as a thorough coup d'etat. He accused the army of betraying his trust and violating the very constitution they claimed to defend. But until now, no senior official from within SANU had openly admitted that the operation was indeed a coup. Chiwenga's revelation, therefore, represents a seismic shift, the first time a top military and political figure has publicly confirmed the truth behind Zimbabwe's so-called Operation Restore Legacy. The timing of his admission is also striking. It comes amid growing factional battles within SANU. deepening tensions between military elites and civilian politicians, and whispers of renewed power struggles ahead of the 2028 elections. Observers say Chiwenga's words could reopen old wounds, reigniting debates about the legality of the transition and the military's continued grip on politics. On November 15, 2017, armored tanks rolled into Harare as soldiers seized the state broadcaster, blocked access to government offices, and placed Mugabe under house arrest at his Blue Roof mansion in Borrowdale. While the army claimed Mugabe was safe and sound, the reality was that power had shifted decisively from civilian to military hands. Analysts believe Chiwenga's confession may also reflect his own political ambitions. By owning the 2017 coup, he may be trying to rewrite his role as a national savior rather than a power usurper, but the consequences could be explosive. His statement directly contradicts the government's long-standing position and could fuel calls for accountability over the army's role in political affairs. Human rights advocates have long argued that the 2017 coup paved the way for systematic repression, media control, and a continued culture of military interference. For many Zimbabweans, the hope that the fall of Mugabe would usher in a new democratic dawn quickly faded. The economy collapsed further, corruption deepened, and political dissent was harshly silenced. Today, 8 years later, the shadow of November 2017 still hangs heavy over the nation, and with Chiwenga's admission that chapter, once shrouded in propaganda, has been reopened for all the world to see. Political commentators say the admission could alter the narrative of modern Zimbabwean history. If confirmed, it validates years of opposition claims that Mnangagwa's government rose to power through an unconstitutional coup, one dressed in legal clothing. It also raises deeper questions about Zimbabwe's democratic future. Can a government born out of military intervention ever fully detach itself from army influence? As Chiwenga's words echo across Harare and beyond, one thing is certain: the truth about Operation Restore Legacy can no longer be buried under political slogans. For millions of Zimbabweans who lived through the chaos, the admission is both vindication and tragedy, proof that their democracy was stolen in the dead of night by those sworn to protect it. This is not just a confession. It is the rewriting of Zimbabwe's political story in the general's own words.